everyone, and welcome to Expanding the Expanse. Sorry I am late. I just walked in off the road and then found out my internet wasn't working. So apologize for the late start, but welcome my guest, Captain Trek. We're going to be
Thank you.
Started. So this is going to be episode 4. For season 1, CQB is the name of the episode. It's another fantastic episode, and we'll just kind of get right into it here. Kamikaze was asking, what is this? Welcome, everybody. Lady Mist, Kamikaze D. So glad you guys are here. Anybody else who's in the chat who hasn't actually said anything, we're really grateful that you're here. But what you were watching before was just kind of an intro video that I did to introduce Captain Trek when we do this. So that's just something I put together. It's not professional quality, but you know what? It does introduce one of the coolest science fiction shows on TV right now. So that's what it was meant to do. So I'm going to, let me see here. Going to post an address in the chat here. This is for an Amazon watch party so that we can all watch this together. If you guys want to go join that, or we will just kind of start this and you guys can watch it along with us either way. Every once in a while, I'll throw out a time code just so that everybody's in the same place. But if you want to put in that code, you can watch it at the same speed that we're watching it at, and everybody should be able to stay caught up. So, any thoughts before we get started, Captain Trek?
No, I was just well, we'll talk about this later, but the watch party last week was a little different than what it is with you.
Okay, good, bad. I mean, I watched a little bit of it. I was away at the time, but what was wrong?
Oh, I just have absolutely zero knowledge of the show, and so it kind of was like, okay, what am I supposed to do now? Yeah.
Hey, Adega, thanks for stopping by. I understand you're busy. A lot of books to write. Thanks for stopping in, though. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. This is the first time I've done one of these watch parties, so let me know if it's not working for you or if you're having problems, because I want to be able to fix that as we're going, or we'll just go back to the old standby. So here we go. Starting in 3, 2, 1, click. So you should be seeing Miller looking at a dead guy.
Mm-hmm.
This guy looks like the creepy Undertaker guy. He just has that vibe.
Oh, yeah.
Ouch. So we are at 1 minute, 20 seconds right now. I love the look of the Donager. Such a cool looking ship. For those of you who don't remember, they did the interrogations where he used what they call focus drugs. That's the little pill that they stick in their mouth. That's why their eyes get wide. It allows them to focus in on every detail of a person. And that's how they can tell when you're lying. It's almost like a human lie detector.
Ah, okay.
Love how casual they're all acting.
Yeah.
That tells you how confident the Martians are in their technology. God, I wish I could do that with my screen.
Yeah.
What? Kill people to preserve?
That's what you said.
I don't know. Sometimes you got to kill the bad guys if you want peace. Kind of a lost idea. So we're coming up on 6 minutes, 50 seconds right now. I like that guy. Point defense turrets, for anybody who doesn't know what that means.
I'm glad you said, because I didn't know myself.
Oh, the future of graffiti.
Yeah.
Betting on whether they'll make the slingshot. You lose. Now he did. For those of you who don't know, the black guy right there plays Clyden, or Boris's mate in the Orville. Nothing like a little bit of mob tactics.
Oh, yeah.
Railguns. Oh man. Talk about sitting in the wrong spot.
No kidding.
It's one of my favorite things about this show is the realism. No shields, no. Something hits the hull, punctures it, you die.
Yep. Wow.
For anybody who's just joining us, I'm reposting the watch party so that you can jump in and start where we're at if you'd like. Or if you'd rather just start on your own, we're at 21:35 right now. Yeah, Lady Mist, I agree. You.
Well, they're shooting a lot.
What's that?
I said they're shooting a lot.
Yeah. Did you see the one intruder get shot in the face?
Oh yeah.
Nothing like trying to make yourself a little bit of a Borg.
Ooh.
It's so crazy how real that looks. I want one of their data pad things. I was going to pick your pockets, but since you're live, I'll go get help. The morals of the future. Something to look forward to. Of course, that's almost better than the morals right now.
Well, this is true. She could have just picked his pocket, then went to get help.
Just walked away or burned his house down.
Exactly.
So this is crazy. This is the flagship of the Martian Navy, and they're getting their butts handed to them by these unknown ships and these unknown people with creepy looking gear. Oh. So for those of you who want to join us watching, we are at 31:55 right now. That's very important. You got to remember that stuff about Phoebe Station. Code 1A, destruct. Just a little sleepy.
Oh, yeah.
Right through the leg. quick thinking.
Yeah, very.
Hey, V-Star33, welcome. There's a watch party code in the chat if you want to join us and finish watching the episode with us. Or if you want to go to Amazon Prime, we're at 37 minutes and 35 seconds right now. Well, that'll wake you right up.
Yeah.
Injections right into the back. I'll see your little pea shooters and raise you some big Gatling guns. Thanks for coming, V-Star333. Say hi to everybody over there. Boom. That's the end.
Ow.
All right, so Captain Trek, what'd you think?
Oh, see, I like that one. It's getting a little less confusing, not quite going as many places at once. I'm still learning it, but
Yeah, it takes a while to get used to everybody's name, and yeah, I agree, Lady Mist. It is a lot more fun watching with everybody else, which is why when Captain Trek suggested doing it this way, we kind of changed. We see people jump in and out a lot more. It's just but you know what? It's fun to watch. It's the only thing missing for me right now is popcorn. I didn't have time to make popcorn. Um, but yeah, no, it is. I don't know. I love The Expanse. Any chance to watch another episode is great. But yeah, it does, and that's the thing. This show just builds and gets better and better and better. You really have to kind of. I think Stone Loki said it last time. You really kind of have to slog your way through that first season and get used to who everybody is. And I mean, this show throws a lot at you really fast. So I mean, it's just getting used to all the different characters and then trying. I mean, you're immediately embroiled in a huge mystery, all the kinds of different things going on. So I mean, you kind of have to go back and watch it several times because you won't get it all in the first one, not even close. In the first sitting and stuff. But like I say, when you get to this episode, I mean, you kind of get a chance to see ship to ship combat, rail guns, the PDTs. Um, I mean, it's just you get to see a lot more action happening than kind of what you've had up until now.
Right.
You get kind of introduced more to the storyline of the Mormons who are building a generational ship to go to another planet. You get introduced to Fred Johnson. He's the black guy who's also on the Orville, for those, like I said, when we were watching that. And I had no idea until just a few weeks ago that he was playing Clyden, which is Bortus's mate in the Orville. It's funny because there's so much makeup or so much makeup and prosthetics on them. I mean, I couldn't tell from just his voice. So I mean, it was crazy to learn that. I'm just like, what? He's who? So, but I really like Fred Johnson's character. He is a really good part of this show. And we get to see a lot more of him. So it's getting into this mystery and figuring out, because right now it looks like they're all kind of separate, but that's the great thing about this show is it brings all this story together at different times and stuff like that. And it's like watching Babylon 5. Babylon 5 was very much the same way. You couldn't just sit there and watch Babylon 5. If you're not paying attention with Babylon 5, you're going to miss stuff. And most of the people who don't like Babylon 5 just never really watched it enough to get past that and get into the deeper story and all the little connections. Because I mean, there's Easter eggs all over in that show, and this show is very much the same way. This is not a passive show. This is an active show. You've got to be involved in. Otherwise, you're just going to be like, I have no idea what's happening. So,
yeah, it's kind of it's taking getting used to because it's like, I don't know this.
yeah. Yeah, and like I say, it throws you into the deep end really fast. So it's like a sink or swim kind of sci-fi show. But I don't know. For me, that's one of the things I love about it. I love integral details in shows that I have to, always be watching and trying picking up little bits and pieces. But yeah, Lady Mist, and I've told this story before. I loved this show, or I wanted nothing to do with this show till I watched it with my brother, and then I was hooked. After half of an episode in the middle of season 2, which I had no idea what was going on, there was enough. I went back and I'm like, I got to finish watching this. I've got to. I've got to start at the beginning and then carry on. And I mean, I think that's what helped me was I kind of had my brother there to help me get familiar with it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is almost a show that you kind of need somebody that you can go and ask questions to who's already kind of got there, because then, it gives you that chance to be like, oh. So, I mean, we want to be that for you guys. So when you come and if you want to talk about details of the show, I mean, that's what we want after we get done with these episodes, is to sit there and just kind of pick them apart a little bit and find the things we love the most. So Captain Trek, what would you say, what stood out to you most in this episode?
Well, gosh, you know, it was the whole battle thing was just they, obviously they were not under the impression that they'd be taken down.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the funny thing, is like the Martians go into that with just this, they're all laid back, cocky, they got torpedoes coming in on them, and it's just like, yeah, whatever, we're gonna. And then it starts to turn, and it's just like, and that's what it's interesting, is to watch them get humbled in a way that they weren't expecting. Yeah, that is interesting, and I really like the Miller parts of the show, because that's the detective story going on in the background, um, and I like that, where it's talking about the tech, where this guy's got chips in him that basically falsify his ID so that you can't tell who he is and stuff. And so it'll throw up different names every time they try, and a different alias every time they try and identify the guy. And I'm just like, that is crazy tech, where they can't just walk up, put their finger on a thumb pad thing, and get their ID. Like he has a way of making that not accurate. So, but yeah, and the part where he sticks him in the leg, I'm just like, I know that this is fake, but that looks so freaking real. I mean,
I know.
like real human tissue, and I'm just like, did they get a cadaver? And because I remember when I was going through some medical classes, we went in to see the cadavers one day, and I'm just like, that is a weird, creepy experience. But I mean, but yeah, it's that gets to me right there. I'm just like, oh, that's one thing I can't stand, is to hear bone break. But even just the sound that they made going into the leg, I'm like, oh.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, well, that's really, really accurate, unfortunately. But yeah, I agree, Lady Miss. That the gunship. I think that it's the Hitachi right now, but that's not what it remains. I won't give anything away, but I mean that gunship, when they pull away from that, I mean the ship just exploded in a nuclear explosion, and I love the way they made that explosion look. It's just like poof, and it's just like like particles, which is what it would look like in space, because there's no oxygen there for fire, so it's not going to look like that. Not that I have anything against the space shows that show fire in space, because there would be oxygen from what was in the ship, but I don't know. I thought the explosion of the Donager was really well done. But yeah, and I agree, Lady Mist. It's never boring. I mean, sometimes like you will feel like you're getting bogged down in the minutia a little bit, but that's when you have to go back and go, okay, what was I missing here? Because that's one thing I've noticed with this show. They don't really show stuff that isn't important. Like there's not a lot of unnecessary exposition. There's not a lot of extra scenes just for filler, like you'll get in some shows. That's one of the things that bugged me about Dark Crystal Age of Resistance. There was filler stuff in their episodes. I'm like, you're just padding this episode out. And I hate it when I feel like I'm in a series like that. But yeah, it's such a, I don't know. So like I said, I tend to get overly excited about it. So I hope that doesn't intimidate you, Captain Trick.
Oh,
But I'm just
not
like
at all.
drooling over it like a total fanboy. But
No, it's kind of nice. At least then I know, if I have some questions, I can ask and not feel like a complete idiot.
no, and see, and that's why I think like when you did the watch party this last time, when I was on, and then I did it this time, doing that watch party, I think we need to be a little bit better of like pausing it, saying, "Hey, pause for a second. I got a question, or I've got something I want to say and stuff." And maybe that'll help a little bit more than wait until the end and then trying to remember what we wanted to ask or talk about.
Right.
Because where we've got everybody all together in one group, it's a little easier to do that,
Sure.
which is really cool for Amazon to give you that ability. And yeah, Lady Miss, the science in this, you can tell they've done a lot of research. They've done a lot of work behind the scenes to be like, okay, how's this going to work? What's going to happen? I mean, when the railgun shot goes through the ship and takes the guy's head off, the blood is like being sucked out through the hole. And then as soon as they seal it, it starts to pool up into balls in the air. And as soon as gravity comes back, boom, it drops to the floor. I mean, it's just all those little details of making sure that the blood is going and doing what it's supposed to in space. I mean, that's just one little example.
Yeah.
But like I said, and I love the little phone pad things that they look just like a piece of plexiglass, but they can sit there and do all this crazy stuff. Like they just go in, he walks into that room, flicks it, and everybody gets it on their screens around him. And he's like, "Hey, I'm looking for this girl." And I'm just like, how cool would it be able to do that? To just, I mean, be able to send stuff out to people just by a flick of the finger, you know? So it's, I don't know. And, I can see this kind of being what Star Trek used to be. I mean, we got flip phones because Star Trek communicators. Log pads, that eventually led to iPad. I mean, Star Trek was responsible for a lot of people having visions and dreaming big dreams and coming up with technology that now we take for granted. And we've moved, kind of past. But so I hope that this is a kind of in some ways, I hope this is similar to our future. And in other ways, I'm hoping, God, I hope it's better than this. You know what I mean? No,
yeah.
all the fighting and political bickering and the UN in charge of the world. I'm just like, well, that's like the worst scenario I could imagine happening ever. But so have you kind of started to find a character that you like more than others in this yet, or you're still kind of just getting used to everybody?
I'm still kind of getting used to everybody. I guess the one I'm trying to figure out is that the one who was I don't know.
One of the men or the women?
One of the men. One of the men. It's just
Is
like
he one of the like the people from the Don or the Canterbury? Like
yes.
so there was the medic guy, and I never really learned his name because he gets killed four episodes in. So you've got Amos, he's the big hefty guy. You've got because I want to talk about it. Now I'm losing their names. Oh my gosh. I hate it when my mind goes blank like that. But hello, Mando Merc. Welcome. We're just discussing. We just watched the 4th episode, so now we're just kind of talking about it. So you got Amos Holden, who is the guy that was with the captain of the Donager most of the time. Oh my gosh, I can see her face and I can't think of her name. It's terrible. But yeah, it's I keep wanting to say Lindsay, and it's not Lindsay. Gosh, hang on, let me look it up because this is going to drive me crazy now because it's right on the tip of my tongue and I can't.
Of course, because
I can't think of it. Google to the rescue! Expanse. Come on, IMDb, give me the names. Wait, not that name. I always think of Amos because he's one of my favorite characters now. Because he's just he, he's a he's a morally ambiguous character who
Hmm.
leans a lot on other people to tell him what's right and what's wrong. And so, I mean, it's kind of strange to see that kind of a character, and he plays that so well. Um, so, okay, all right. We got Alex Kamali.
Hmm.
He is the pilot. He's the guy that gets dosed and knocked out in this episode there towards the end.
Right.
And then we've got Naomi Nagata, and she's the gal that's the kind of the smart, the OPA um, person. So those are the. So is it Cass or is it Alex Kamali that
I
you're
don't
thinking about the
know.
pilot? He's the one
See,
that talks with a Texan drawl, even though he's like clearly of Indian descent or like Middle Eastern descent.
oh, I'm gonna have to watch more because it's just like I, I can't figure out who yet.
Well, like I said, I love the show and I forgot their names. So I mean that tells you that it's sometimes it's just like I can see their faces and then I blank. But yeah, I'm really good for that, especially when I really want to remember. That's when I can't. So, but like the story behind Alex is interesting because it talks about because he's from Mars. Um, when Mars was being colonized, or that part of Mars, it was colonized by a lot of like Persian people, by a lot of Indian and Middle Eastern type people, and it was also colonized by a large number of people from Texas. And as because they live in such quote close proximity because of the domes and everything, um, that all of these people that came in eventually started talking like the Texans because the Texans is such a that's such a strong accent and such a strong way of speaking and stuff, so that like that part of Mars basically became Little Texas. And that's why, because at first I could not understand why he would be talking like that. Hey,
Right.
partner, and stuff. It's just like I don't understand what's happening here. He does not look like his voice. Well, in the books, that's where it kind of explains why he talks like that. And I'm just like, well, now I get it. And the books, if you ever get the chance to listen to the audiobooks or read the books, they are very good. They're kind of they're a little different than the show,
Hmm.
but they are definitely worth reading. They're very well written. So and they will hold your attention. Um,
Oh, that's good.
almost better than the show will at times. So it's just, but then, I mean, you've got Amos who came out of Baltimore, and there's a saying, nobody gets out of Baltimore. And he came up the hard way. He had a hard life. He was abused as a kid. He was sold into sex slavery. Just had some really hard things. In fact, there's a kind of a small novella book about Amos that I haven't had a chance to get to read yet, and I'm looking forward to it because it kind of goes back and tells you some of the backstory of Amos's life.
Wow.
So I'm looking forward to get to read that at some point. But then you got Jim Holden, who's kind of the Boy Scout of the group. Grew up in Montana. He's the son of like 3 or 4 different men and like 6 different women. They basically spliced genes together from every single one of them to create him, and then he gestated inside of one mom and stuff. But basically, it was the only way that they could hang on to the farmland that they owned and stuff. So, I mean, they talk a little bit about that in the first few episodes. And if you don't really understand what's happening, you're like, he's what? He's who? It's like, wait, he's got how many moms and how many dads, and they're all his biological parents. And so that's a little confusing. But
Yeah.
but that's why they did it, was to maintain this cooperative over the land. Was they all had to have us children, basically. And they just were less like, well, let's just have one kid with all of us and stuff. But that wasn't the only reason they had him. I mean, they wanted a kid, but so Lady Miss, to answer your question, the next watch party will be next. Are you going to do? Okay, next Saturday, same bat time, same bat or different bat channel. So the next one will be on Captain Trek's channel at 7 p.m. Central, and he will be reviewing episode 5. I will be gone, so I will not. I'm not able to participate in that one. But yeah, so that's when we do it every Saturday, same time. We just alternate between my channel and Captain Trek's, because there's weeks when I'm not here. So yeah, he will be hosting the next one. So I hope we get to see you there. We'll kind of wrap this up, because I could just sit here and blather all night, like a little girl. So anyway, thanks everybody for coming. Everybody who stopped in: Mando Merc, Lady Mist, V-Star 333, Adega, Kamikaze D, and I think that's everybody who actually made a comment in the chat. Thank you for being here. Keep helping us expand the Expanse. Get out there, talk about this show, tell people about the Expanse, and get them into the show, because it really is worth it. And we don't want it to get canceled. It already almost got canceled once, and the Screaming Firehawk saved it. So we don't want that to happen again. So anyway, thanks for being here, and we will talk to you all next time. Did you have anything you wanted to say, Captain Trek? Sorry, I just
no. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Lady Miss. That was awesome. We'll be here unless the mothership comes back. Well, maybe they get YouTube. Talk to you next time. See you later.